Hi guys, hi guys. Ooh, we are going to start at exactly 2 minutes. Mm, 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 mm. Hi guys, how are you doing today? Let me hope you're blessed in the mighty name of Jesus. So today I was just there and I thought about something like when people have a baby, what happens? Why do relationships scatter? Why do people break up after that? After they have had a baby, like you find couples that were all lovey-dovey, people that loved themselves so much, people that cared for themselves, for each other so much, and then when they have a baby, like all of a sudden things change. You find like this couple has broken up after having a baby. People that loved each other so much, they are no longer loving each other so much. People that used to respect themselves, they don't respect each other anymore, and you wonder what is happening. So sometimes on the woman's side, because her body is changing, her emotions are changing, like the medication she's changing can even affect her. So you find like this woman has changed from the person that the man fell in love with, so the person the man fell in love with is changing. So the man also has to be sensible enough to adjust to that change, to understand that my woman has been carrying a baby, my woman has been carrying a child. She has changed, her body has changed, her emotions have changed, the way she reasons has changed. So the man also has to help the woman to see that she goes through that phase, otherwise the relationship will be broken. And then when women get pregnant, sometimes you don't feel the same way you used to feel when you have your body together. Your body has changed. You've carried a baby, 9 months is full of emotions, medication, and so many things. So you find like the woman has changed. So the man has to understand that this woman is not the same woman that I fell in love with, that was single, that had a nice body, that was looking good, that was looking amazing, that she has changed. Men have to understand that when a woman has a baby, she changes emotionally, psychologically, and her body changes. So you will find even she does not have the same self-esteem she used to have before. And I also advise men not to go into that labor ward. Don't go into that labor ward. And if you go into that labor ward, stay on this upper side of the woman's face, and what hold her hand, talk to her. Don't go into the labor ward and see where the baby is coming from. You're going to be traumatized. You're going to be so traumatized seeing what happens down there. You will never look at your woman the same. So I know sometimes men are excited, they want to see how the baby comes out, they want to be the first person to hold the baby, but for your own sanity, and for the love that you have for your woman to stay the same, don't go to the labor ward and go to the side where the baby is coming from. Stay on the upper side where you're encouraging them, where you're loving them, where you're telling them you love them. Don't go on the other side where the baby is coming from, because you're going to see many things. You're going to be disgusted. You're going to be Don't do that. So sometimes that trauma that men see in the labor ward, you don't ever see that woman the same again. And trust me, you will end up cheating. If you're not strong in God, you will end up cheating. So other people, sometimes when women have babies, the priority goes to the baby, as should be. But you should not neglect your partner, because this is the time when your partner needs you emotionally. They need your emotional support. They need your encouragement. They need you to tell them how you love them. They need you to tell them how they are still beautiful. You know, they need you to tell them all those words of affirmation. This is the time they need you most. Hi Soma, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the live. So this is the time they need you the most. So when you neglect them, they are going to feel depressed. They are going to, and postpartum stress is very real. People do not understand that a woman will become stressed after giving birth. So the least you can do as a partner is also be there for the lady. But also men, when this woman is going through the pregnancy, men also go through that. Like even them things change psychologically. Someone who was taking care of one person, maybe you're having twins, now they have to see how they are going to cater for two, how they will be. Now their brain is also like overthinking. Like, now I have a family, now I have children, I have to take care of them. How will the children go to school? Men will be thinking. So they also need that emotional support during that pregnancy. So the best thing you can do as a couple, sit down and always talk things through and always emotionally support each other. Because after having a baby, you wonder that these people that used to love themselves, after having a baby, after receiving this bundle of joy, they should be celebrating, they should be happy. But you find that people are now just driving apart. Relationships are just going downhill after having a baby. But it shouldn't be that way. But this is going to start with you. You deciding like, no, my relationship is not going to be like that. My relationship is not going to fail after I have a baby. You know, it is up to you and your partner to sit down and make sure you make that decision. And it is possible. You can do it, you can make it, and it is possible. It is you to decide, you know. Always emotionally support each other. Then you see that you have no problem. And then another thing women we do, we put all our focus on the child and neglect the man, which is very, very wrong. You need to find a balance between the two. You need to find a way you can balance between the newborn baby and your husband, because he still needs you. You know, you don't want him to start feeling neglected. Once he feels neglected, he'll be like, oh, okay, she's taking care of our baby. But it is going to push him to look for emotional support elsewhere. And then that is what is going to lead him to cheat. But you have to find a way to balance. And you can balance, it is possible. You know, talk to your husband to also help you around, like to help you in the relationship, to help you like with the baby, to see how you can all help each other around the house. Not saying that, oh no, the woman is the one supposed to do this, the woman is supposed to do this. No. You know, you emotionally support each other. Don't neglect each other. You emotionally support each other, you help each other, and you say we are going to always support each other. Even if that woman is going through postpartum stress, you know, she can talk to someone who has gone through it. You can have friends who are mothers. They can talk to them about it and they can encourage them. You know, when women become first-time mothers, they sometimes feel like they don't fit into society anymore. They don't do the things they wanted to do anymore because they feel like their baby is limiting them. So before you even have a baby, you have to know that things are going to change. The only constant thing in life is change. You have to understand that things are going to change. You're not going to always do things when you want to do them like how you used to when you were single, when you don't have another baby, when you don't have a baby who is now a priority in your life. So you have to understand that things have to change. But all in all, it goes back. If you have a supportive partner and you support each other, and maybe when you want to go do your own activities and be on your own, he can stay with the baby, you know. If you have that connection and that communication, it will be very, very easy for you. So if you have your partner and you emotionally support each other, it is going to be easy. it is going to be easy for you. But if you're not supportive to your partner, they are going to be depressed. They're going to have a problem. They're going to have a big problem, and it is going to affect the whole family. But when you connect and you're able to do, and you're able to balance, like let's say the woman wants to go out and spend a few hours alone, you can stay with the baby. If you have that communication, it's going to be so easy for you. And babies grow up very fast. Before you know it, the baby will be going to daycare. You know, before you know it, the baby will be grown. And then words of affirmation. You need to keep telling your partner that she's beautiful, she's good looking, it's okay, the changes that she's having with her body. Like, don't body shame her. Do you know there are men that body shame women? Like, how can you? She just carried a whole human being in her body, and then you start body shaming her. That's not good. That's not right. You know, and sometimes the person that is supporting the person that is supposed to be supporting them is the one that is body shaming them. Now you wonder. You find the woman is so stressed, and she ends up going to talk to other people. She cannot even confide in you, you know. But if you have that support for your partner, things will be so easy. You know, people even have triplets and they are able to manage, even twins, and they are able to manage. Do you understand? So we need to be supportive, but that stress that comes after giving birth is real. Some people don't get it. Some people don't get that kind of stress. They just be there enjoying the baby running up and down. That is different. And every woman is different. So you as a man, you need to understand your woman. You need to understand your woman. You have to make sure, research about these things, or talk to her, ask her how she's feeling. Make sure she makes you her safe space. She makes you her safe space. Like, she can easily come and communicate to you about anything, you know, because here she's, you know, even that medicine sometimes affects us. That medicine that we take when we are pregnant, it sometimes affects you. You find that after giving birth, even not even after giving birth, like before you're slowly giving, like when you're almost at the space of giving birth, you find yourself, you forget easily. Someone can tell you something, you forget. Someone tells you something, you forget. And then some people, some spouses will be like, what's wrong with you? Da, 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 da. You shout at her. She's going to get into depression. You know? So as men, you need to understand these things and support your people. And you support your wife, you support your partner in all the stages until she gives birth. Like I said earlier, don't go to the labor ward. You're not a doctor. Don't go into the labor ward to see things that are going to traumatize you for years. Or if you go to the labor ward, let them put a curtain, be this side where the body is. You hold her hand, pray. But don't go down there. You know, don't go down there. You're going to be traumatized for weeks. You're going to be traumatized for weeks. You know? So don't go to the labor ward. Men, don't go to the labor ward. Stay on this. If you insist on entering the labor ward, stay on this other side where you're not seen down there, because you're going to be traumatized for years and years. I'm telling you. So another thing is, like, when after giving birth, make sure you don't shift all the attention to the baby. Even the men, you find that a man that used to take care of the girl, buy her things, buy her presents, now everything has shifted to the baby. These things, they go two ways, you know? They go two ways. They go two ways. Support your husband, support your wife. You need each other. You know, that's why you find single mothers or women that have been abandoned when they are pregnant. You find them when they are committing suicide, because that stress got them up to here. Everything became overwhelming, you know. And I always tell men that there is a blessing for you to look after a woman who has given birth to you, or even the child. You know, if you say, I don't want to take care of the woman, it's okay. But the child, there is a blessing. You know, and there's a curse that comes with you not taking care of your own. So as a man, in whatever you do, never ever neglect your children. Never neglect the woman that you had a baby with. Sometimes relationships fail. You have a baby with somebody, but things just don't work out. So if things don't work out, take care of your responsibility. You know, I believe men are supposed to be providers. If you say maybe the woman did something, even as sometimes women, we do things that are drastic, things that are hurting, you know, things that are terrible. But you don't have to put it on the child. You understand? You have to separate the woman, the child, and you have to separate the child from the mother. If you say that, yeah, there are some men who find out that the woman even cheated. You understand? You can decide, okay, I'm not going to take care of you, but I'm going to take full responsibility of my child. Let me tell you, God will not refuse. There's a huge blessing you will get. But if you neglect your child, there's a curse that comes with it. But because at the end of the day, that is your blood. That is your blood. Then we go to women who maybe you're married, you have arguments with your man. You know, the stress pushes you to go out of the house. I tell married women, however, you know, pregnancy has a lot of emotions. There are so many things that women think about or go through. That emotional change is so, I don't know. That change is so drastic. Let me say that. It's so changing that some women get into depression even during the pregnancy. They don't want to see the man, they don't want. But I tell married women, help yourself. Whatsoever you do, don't leave that home. Don't leave your home. Whatever the man does, don't you ever leave your home. Stay in that home. Pray against those emotions that are making you want to leave your home. You know, you find somebody, she was in her home, she left when she was pregnant because she was having so many emotions. The pregnancy made her hate the husband. You're giving room for the devil. You are giving room for the devil. That man is going to think, is she having someone else? Is she doing something else? Is she doing this and this? You know? And the last thing you want is to put doubt in your husband's mind. That is very bad. That is very terrible. That is the worst thing you can do, is to put doubt in your husband's mind. Because once you put doubt, trust is going to be broken. And to regain that trust, it's going to be difficult. So you have to make sure, whatever you do, whatever you go through, you have to make sure you stay in your home. Fight any battle, any emotional stress, any spiritual things that are disturbing you. Fight them when you're in your home. Don't leave your matrimonial home. When you leave and say, me, I've gone, you're giving room for the devil to come into your house. You're giving room to the devil to come into your home. And before you know it, you hear that your husband has gotten someone pregnant. But it all started with you leaving the home. You know? Children are a blessing from the Lord and a blessing. You know, it's a bundle of joy. It is a blessing to be a parent, to be a father, to be a mother. So you need to embrace it. All those emotions that come with, me, I want to leave the home. Me, I want to go somewhere else. Me, I want to live somewhere else. Me, I want to go and stay with my relatives. My dear, help yourself overcome those emotions and stay in your home. You ask yourself, like couples, these people were so loving. What happened? Why did things change after they had a baby? Some women, after giving birth, you get like tired of yourself. Like you find yourself, all your focus is on the baby. You don't want to look after yourself anymore. You don't want to bathe. Breast milk is always flowing on the clothes, and when breast milk falls on clothes, it starts smelling. And remember, men fall in love with what they see. So men don't care if you had a baby yesterday or you had a baby, 2 days ago. They expect you to be clean and looking nice. You don't have to always have makeup on and all that stuff, but at least bathe. Bathe, look clean, look neat, have your nails trimmed, Don't have breast milk floating everywhere. Be clean, Change your garments like every now and then. Because that man is still going to be looking at you. That man is going to still be seeing you. Hi, Chris. Hi, Patel. How are you? Hi, Patel. How are you? Oh, sorry, Patel, about that. Sorry about that. Guys, unfortunately, I have to go right now, but let me come back in a few minutes.